Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. See, can everybody find the chat box at the bottom? Chat an option in the Jusara. Type your roll number in that. Type your name and roll number because we need to send this attendance to JNTU. So I want to know the list of students who are presenting in every class, who are present in every class. Chat box lo మీ name, roll number type చేయండి. Who is 347 314? Shoban? Shoban 359, okay. Who is 347? Mustaq, type your name and roll number in the chat box so that I can record it for it.
347 Nikhil Chari, ma'am.
Nikhil Chari, నీ name roll number type చేయి chat box లో.
Okay, ma'am.
314. Okay, shall I start the session? Few students who attend class regularly are not present. Vatsav, Sai Kiran, Elaine.
Agga వచ్చిండు.
Okay. See, I'm sharing the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Unit 1, Introduction to Automobile Engineering, Fuel Systems and CA Systems. Okay. So we learn this and this is your syllabus. Introduction, layout of automobile, introduction to chassis and body components, type of automobile engines, power unit. Power unit is engine. Okay. Introduction to engine lubrication, engine servicing. Next, SI engines, fuel supply system, mechanical and electrical fuel pump, filters, carburetor types, air filter, petrol injection, introduction to MPFI, multi-point fuel injection system, GDI, gasoline direct injection system. And next is CI engines, compression ignition engines, requirements of diesel engine system, types of injection system. DA system is direct injection system. IDA system is indirect diesel injection system, indirect system. Fuel pump nozzles, spray formation, injection timing, testing of fuel pumps, introduction to CRDA and TDA system. CRDA ante common rail diesel injection system. TDI is turbocharged diesel injection system. So in this video lecture, we are going to learn all these things. Okay, first one is automobile layout. Okay, this part we call it as chassis. It means the part which is without body. It means the top cover of the car, we call it as chassis, and this is a chassis layout. See, all of you type your roll numbers. Mugre ichar attendance. Wait a second.
Bharat Kumar garu.
Okay, fine. So chassis layout, you see, this is the frame. So all these components are mounted to frame. The bottom part of your car is called as frame. This is the radiator. Radiator will be at the front of your car. So with the help of this radiator, we'll cool the engine. So it helps for inflow of air. Okay. It will have a fan for sucking the air inside. And these are the wheels. This is the engine. This is also called as the power unit. And these are the clutches. And this is the gearbox. So clutch is used to engage and disengage the driving shaft and driven shaft. So driving shaft is engine shaft and driven shaft is a shaft which are getting from gearbox. So both will get engaged at clutch. And whenever you want to change the gear, we engage and disengage at this area, at the clutch. Okay, gearbox is used to run the speed at the required speed and required torque. Okay, this is the propeller shaft, and this is used for transmitting the motion from gearbox to the rear shaft. So this is the differential which is used to run the two wheels at different speeds. So now when you're taking turn, say for example, if you're taking right turn, the inside wheels should make smaller radius, and outside wheel should make larger radius. So the inside wheel should move with small speed, and the outside wheel should move with greater speed. In this case, the differential will control the speeds of these two wheels. So this is how the differential will work. And these are the components of your chassis. Okay. Clear till here? Everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
No one is responding properly. Let me see this. How many are present? ఒక్క నిమిషం ఉండండి. Nikhil Chari 47, Bharat 314, Mustaq 377. Shobhan, okay, right. Okay, this is chassis layout. Next one is type of automobiles. According to the purpose, means what things we are carrying, it is divided into three types: passenger vehicles, goods vehicle, and special purpose vehicle. Example of passengers vehicle is your car, bus, taxi, and goods vehicle is your trucks, containers, and tempos. And special purpose vehicles are like ambulances or fire engines. Next, according to load carrying capacity, light motor vehicles like cars, medium motor vehicles like tempos and pickup vans, and heavy duty vehicles like tractors, trucks, and containers. Next, according to the number of wheels, 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler, 4-wheelers, and 6-wheelers. Next, according to the fuel use, petrol vehicles, diesel vehicles, gasoline vehicles, electric vehicle, and hybrid vehicles. Next, according to the drive of vehicle, front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. Okay, next, according to suspension system, conventional type, independent suspension system. Okay, so this is the classification of type of automobiles. As you know this, I'm not giving examples. Examples are written here, but you know this. Next, next is type of automobile engines. Now, till now what we have learned is type of automobiles. Now we'll see the classification of engines as per the type of ignition: internal combustion engine and external combustion engines. Okay, internal combustion is where combustion process takes place within the system, like your cars, bikes, and all. External combustion system is where combustion process takes place outside. Like for example, if you take your steam turbine, the combustion process will take place outside, that steam will generate, and the generated steam will be sent inside. Okay, so internal combustion engine and external combustion engine. Next, as per the strokes, 2-stroke and 4-stroke. 2-stroke is used in your bikes and 4-stroke is used in your cars. Next, according to the design of engine, reciprocating engine, rotary engine. Reciprocatory is where you make up and down motion. It means in your bikes and cars. And rotary engine is Wankel engine is the example of this. Here you will have two fans and these things will be rotating in order to produce the energy. Okay, so here you'll have a rectangular type of circle, means there will be some wheel inside, and now what it does is you have a circular shape inside. This wheel will rotate within the frame, the circular frame. Now when it is rotating, it will create suction, compression and expansion, everything in the rotation cycle only. If it is a circular one, you'll have a triangular shape wings for that. So these triangular shapes will pull the fuel along with it, and at one stage it will do suction, at one stage it will do compression, at one stage it will do power stroke, and at one stage it will send it out. So everything will happen within this circle. So that is Wankel engine. You once look at the video. If not, I'll try to show you here. Can you see some figure here?
Yes, ma'am.
See, there is some wheel type of thing here in the middle. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What happens is this will be rotating. See, here you have some hole, right? Some gap. Now, whatever the fuel you are injecting here will come here. This is suction. When it is going here, here is some plug to do the combustion process. So the fuel will get burned and again it will turn. So like this, because of the motion of this shaft, the energy will get transmitted. So this is Wankel engine. Okay. You see here. See here. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
See, atla. ఇంటేక్ కంప్రెషన్ ఇగ్నిషన్ ఎగ్జాస్ట్ మూడు అవుతున్నాయి చూడండి. ఓకే. So that's the thing. Next, according to the fuel used, diesel, petrol, gas engine, and electric engine. Next, according to type of ignition, compression ignition and spark ignitions. Compression ignition will be in heavy vehicles like your cars, trucks, buses. In that you have compression ignition, and spark ignition will be in your bikes. Next, according to number of cylinders, single cylinder and multi-cylinder. If you have only one cylinder, we call it a single cylinder. If you have more than one, we call it as multi-cylinder. According to the arrangement of cylinders, we have different arrangements in different cars. So these are the arrangements. Inline engine, V-shape, opposite cylinder engine, W-type engine, opposite piston engine, and radial engine. So these are different types of engines. You remember that you'll have these so many types of engines. This point we'll use at the last of this session. It means how fuel gets injected to this. Okay. Next, according to air intake process, natural aspect is where you get air naturally. Supercharged and turbocharged is where you use some external sources for increasing its speed, so that the fuel will get injected into the system with more force, so that the engine efficiency and fuel efficiency will increase. It means more, you'll get more mileage. Okay. Next, engine lubrication system. See, I'll show you some video. It's of engine lubrication system. It's clear with all the parts. It don't have sound, but he'll write everything. See, this is the belt, this is the sump, that is oil. This is strainer. Strainer will suck the fuel. This is the pump, and this is the fuel regulator, pressure regulator, oil pressure regulator. This is oil filter. It means it will remove all the dust particles. So now fuel is entering into oil lines. So we have different moving parts. So now fuel is being, what do you say, injected into that. See, the fuel will fall into this piston rings and it will get lubricated, and this will lubricate the entire system. And now this lubrication is for camshaft.
WhatsApp actually don't start.
So the excess fuel from there, means the excess lubricating oil, will come back to the sump again. So that is engine lubrication system. Next, engine servicing. Yeah, engine servicing. So based on this, the following things which we have mentioned here, the engine servicing time will be decided. First one is distance traveled by the vehicle. It means how much, if we complete this many kilometers, we have to go for servicing, like this. Next, extreme hot and cold working conditions. If if your vehicle is not in normal conditions, if it is going to extreme hot or extreme cold conditions, then the scheduled service time will vary to vehicle. Means it varies from vehicle to vehicle based on this hot and cold working conditions. Next, if your vehicle is going more to the mountain areas and where you have so much of ice or where you have so much of dust, in that cases also the engine servicing time will vary. Next, heavy stop and go traveling. It means if there is a Where, see, for example, your college buses, RTC buses, all these things are example for this. So now what happens is it will get number of stops. It should stop everywhere and go, stop everywhere and go. So here what happens is the driver should change the gear everywhere and he should continuously apply the pressure on the brakes. So now what happens is because of this continuous movements, there will be more wear and tear of the parts. So in such cases also the servicing should be done frequently. And next, heavy loading. If your vehicles are heavy loading vehicles, in that cases also servicing should be done regularly. So based on all these things, we'll decide the servicing time of our car. It means for every 1 month or every 6 months or every 1 year. So depending on our car, means our vehicle means vehicle running things, we'll schedule the service. So we'll check all these things when you're going for engine servicing. First one is change the engine oil, replace the oil filter, replace the air filter, replace the fuel filter, replace the AC filter, replace the spark plugs, check level and refill brake fluid and clutch fluid, check brake pads, linear brake disc, drums and replace it worn out. If it is worn out, check the coolant hoses, check the charging system, check the battery, check level and refill power steering fluid, check level and refill automatic manual transmission fluid, grease and lubricate components, inspect and replace the timing belt or timing chain if needed. Next, timing belt and timing chain is, see, based on your piston position, the fuel will get injected. So now if there is any problem in that timing, you have to what do you say, you have to correct the timing. Okay, check condition of the tires, check for proper operation of all the lights and wipers, check for any error codes in ECU. ECU is engine control unit, and take corrective action. Use a scan tool to read trouble code. Scan tool is, see, engine control unit will have some software built in it, so that what it does is it will see the position of the piston, it will see the position of crankshaft, it will see the ignition system, it will see the pressure, it will check the quantity of fuel you have. So ECU, engine control unit, will have all these things. Now what we do is, if there is any problem in engine control unit, that data will be stored in the software of ECU, engine control unit. Now if we scan that software, means if you scan the devices which you have inside, you'll get the error code if you have any problem in your automobile. Next, fuel supply system. Fuel supply system. Fuel supply system is a separate system used to deliver fuel at correct time in correct quantity to the engine for smooth and efficient operation. It means we have to supply fuel at right time, at right place, in right quantity. So this is a mechanical fuel pump. Here you have a camshaft. Camshaft is here in the middle, and see, this is, see, camshaft is round, but the eccentric which is surrounding it is not round. It means camshaft is connected at one end. Now when eccentric is moving, now what happens is, when this larger edge comes, this rocker arm will move up and down. Okay, when this rocker arm is moving, this power will be transmitted to this pull rod. Now here you have some diaphragm. This straight one is diaphragm. Now what happens is, when this is rotating, this rock arm will move this diaphragm backward. When it is moving backward, here you have a suction valve. Because of the vacuum created, it means because of vacuum created because of this diaphragm, this suction will move back. As a result, the fuel will enter from inlet valve to the strainer and then to this chamber. And now when this camshaft moves back, the small end comes here and the diaphragm will move back. As a result, because of the fuel pressure, this pressure valve get open and the fuel here, which is in the chamber, will go out to the carburetor from here. Is it clear, or you want me to explain once again?
Clear, ma'am.
Okay. See, here I have placed some link. Notes is available in this link. Okay. This is electric fuel pump. So here what happens is, when there is ignition, these 2 points will get joined. So this is a break point. Now when these two gets joined, here a magnetic field will get created. So this is a solenoid valve. So the magnetic field will get created here, and because of this, the armature and spring which are at the bottom will move back. As a result, when it is moving back, this fuel connection will also move back. This valve will get open and fuel will flow inside. And now when this this breaking point is again removed, it means the contact is disconnected. Now what happens is this fuel will go back. As a result, this valve will get open. Then the fuel from here will enter into carburetor. It means the opening and closing will be done with the help of this solenoid valve. So this is electric fuel pump. Next one is a filter. Every car has 4 main filters: the cabin filter, oil filter, fuel filter, and air filter. The function of all these filters is to enable flow and catch the impurities. It means it should be smooth flow, and at the same time the impurity should be removed. Next, carburetor. It is a device which mixes air and fuel for internal combustion engines in a proper air fuel ratio for combustion. So instead of just sending air separately and fuel separately, if we mix the air and fuel before it gets combust, means before it enters into engine, the mileage will increase. It means the utilization of fuel will be more. So here we have different types of carburetors. The first one is by the direction of flow. We have 3 carburetors: updraft, downdraft, crossdraft. These things we'll discuss with figures in next slide. Next, by multi-venturi, it means you'll have either 2 venturis or 3 venturis to increase the pressure. This also we'll see with figure. Next, by multi-jet, instead of sending with 1 jet, if we send with 2 or more jets, now what happens is the fuel will enter in different directions and combustion will take place more. It means energy released will be more. Next one is multi-barrel. Multi-barrel is fuel, instead of coming out from one outlet of carburetor, it will come out from different sides. The purpose of this multi-barrel is if you have a 4 cylinder, 6 cylinder, or 8 cylinders, now every cylinder will need 1 barrel. So now, depending upon the number of cylinders, will decide how many barrels we need. So 1 barrel will send fuel to 1 engine, 1 cylinder. Okay, this is multi-barrel. So now let us see by direction of flow. If the fuel is entering in upward direction, we call it as updraft carburetor. The advantage and disadvantage is here the fuel will get enter with force, but the thing is it cannot travel for long distances. Wherever you have small openings, small distances, it can travel till there. If not, because of gravitational force, all the fuel particles will come back to the other side. So that's why this updraft carburetor is not preferable. Next one is downdraft carburetor. Here, because of gravity, even if engine is rotating at lower speed, the fuel will enter into the engine. Here is the nozzle, throttle valve. The throttle valve will help in mixing the air and fuel, and from here the fuel will enter into the engine. And next one is crossdraft. Crossdraft is where your fuel will engine into carburetor. Fuel will enter into your engine in straight way. Means it will go in top direction, this is going in bottom direction, and this crossdraft is going in straight way. Okay, so these are 3 different types of flows. The only advantage with crossdraft is instead of having all right angles, you can place this fuel system at the top and you can directly inject. We have only that advantage. The most advantageous is downdraft because it works towards the gravity. So even if your engine is running at lower speeds, this type of carburetors will work properly. Next, this is multi-venturi, this is double venturi, and this is triple venturi. So in case of double venturi, you have fuel. This is main venturi and this is boost venturi. Here you have main venturi, primary and secondary venturi. Now if you are increasing the number of venturies, you are increasing the pressure of the fluid. As a result, the fuel will get injected into the engine with more pressure. As a result, the fuel consumption will take place to higher rate. Next is a multi-point fuel injection system.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका द ऑटोमोटिव्स में। और आज हम बात करेंगे कि एमपीएफआई सिस्टम क्या है और वो काम कैसे करता है। आज इस वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे कि एमपीएफआई सिस्टम का मीनिंग क्या होता है, उसे गाड़ी में क्यों लगाया जाता है, एमपीएफआई सिस्टम के फायदे क्या क्या है, एमपीएफआई सिस्टम का कंस्ट्रक्शन किस तरह से किया जाता है और वो काम कैसे करता है। शुरुआत करते हैं एमपीएफआई के मीनिंग से। तो एमपीएफआई का मतलब होता है मल्टी पॉइंट फ्यूल इंजेक्शन, और ये एक फ्यूल इंजेक्शन सिस्टम है जिसमें फ्यूल को डायरेक्टली इनटेक मैनिफोल्ड की अपस्ट्रीम पोजीशन में इंजेक्ट करवाया जाता है। तो बात करते हैं नेसेसिटी की। तो एमपीएफआई एक मॉडर्न फ्यूल इंजेक्शन सिस्टम है और एमिशन नॉर्म्स के साथ कंप्लीट होने के लिए मेनली इसे इंस्टॉल कर दिया जाता है। दूसरा ये कि कार्बोरेटर को इलेमिनेट कर देता है और प्रेशर से फ्यूल को इंजेक्ट करने के कारण जो फ्यूल एफिशिएंसी है वो इंजन में से ज़्यादा मिलती है। अब बात करते हैं एडवांटेजेस की। तो कार्बोरेटर के इलेमिनेशन के कारण मेंटेनेंस काफ़ी कम आता है और सिस्टम का पावर आउटपुट ज़्यादा मिलता है। अब कंटिन्यूअस फ्यूल कंट्रोल होने के कारण जो फ्यूल एफिशिएंसी है वो ज़्यादा मिलेगी। अब बात करते हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन की। तो नॉर्मली फ्यूल टैंक के साथ एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फ्यूल पंप लगा होगा और फिर लगा होगा एक इनलाइन फ्यूल फिल्टर। अब जो फिल्टर है उसमें से फुल लाइन सीधी जाएगी फ्यूल रेल में, जो कि एक मेटल की ट्यूब होगी, और उसके दूसरे सिरे पर लगा होगा एक प्रेशर कंट्रोल वाल्व, जिसमें से रिटर्न लाइन वापस फ्यूल टैंक में जाएगी। अब जो फ्यूल रेल है उसमें से इंजेक्टर को हाई प्रेशर फ्यूल सप्लाई दी जाएगी, जो कि इनटेक मैनिफोल्ड में अपस्ट्रीम पोजीशन में लगाए गए होंगे। तो अब बात करते हैं सेंसर्स की। तो सबसे पहला है थ्रोटल पोजीशन सेंसर, जो कि थ्रोटल वाल्व के साथ डायरेक्टली कनेक्ट होगा। फिर आएगा मैनिफोल्ड एब्सोल्यूट प्रेशर सेंसर, जो कि इनटेक मैनिफोल्ड में माउंट होगा। उसके बाद आएगा ऑक्सीजन सेंसर, जो कि एग्जॉस्ट मैनिफोल्ड में माउंट किया गया होगा। और लास्ट में होगा एक क्रैंकशाफ्ट पोजीशन सेंसर, जो कि क्रैंकशाफ्ट के साथ डायरेक्टली जुड़ा हुआ होगा। अब इन चारों सेंसर को कनेक्ट किए जाएंगे इंजन कंट्रोल मॉड्यूल से, जो कि सभी इंजेक्टर और फ्यूल पंप के साथ कनेक्ट होगा और उन्हें कंट्रोल भी करेगा। अब देखते हैं वर्किंग को। तो फ्यूल टैंक में से फ्यूल पंप फ्यूल को प्रेशराइज करके भेजेगा फ्यूल फिल्टर में, और फ्यूल फिल्टर में फ्यूल क्लीन होगा और जाएगा फ्यूल रेल में। और फ्यूल रेल में एक डिसाइडेड प्रेशर बना रहेगा, और अगर प्रेशर बढ़ता है तो प्रेशर रिलीफ वाल्व फ्यूल को वापस फ्यूल टैंक में भेजेगा, जिसके कारण फ्यूल रेल और इंजेक्टर में प्रेशर मेंटेन रहेगा। अब थ्रोटल पोजीशन सेंसर एक्सीलरेटर देने पर थ्रोटल वाल्व की पोजीशन सेंस करके सिग्नल देगा ईसीएम को, ताकि ईसीएम को पता चलेगा कि ड्राइवर ने कितना एक्सीलरेटर दिया है। फिर मैनिफोल्ड एब्सोल्यूट प्रेशर सेंसर सेंस करेगा कि कितनी एयर इनटेक मैनिफोल्ड में जा रही है और उसका सिग्नल ईसीएम को देगा। अब ऑक्सीजन सेंसर इंजन एग्जॉस्ट में कितना ऑक्सीजन जा रहा है वो सेंस करेगा और डेटा भेज देगा ईसीएम को, जिस पर से ईसीएम डिसाइड करेगा कि रिच मिक्सर इंजेक्ट करना है या फिर लीन मिक्सचर। अब क्रैंकशाफ्ट पोजीशन सेंसर क्रैंकशाफ्ट की एग्जैक्ट पोजीशन बताएगा ईसीएम को, और इन्हीं चार सेंसर के डेटा को यूज करके ईसीएम डिसाइड करेगा कि कौन से टाइम पर कौन से सिलेंडर में कितना फ्यूल इंजेक्ट करना है, और उस मुताबिक वो इंजेक्ट कर दो सिग्नल देगा और फ्यूल इंजेक्ट करवाएगा। हाई प्रेशर फ्यूल इंजेक्ट होने के कारण इंजन के पंपिंग लॉस कम हो जाएंगे और इनटेक स्ट्रोक के दौरान इंजन को कम पावर यूज करना पड़ेगा, जिससे इंजन की ओवरऑल एफिशिएंसी और पावर आउटपुट में बढ़ावा मिलेगा। अगर आपको सेंसर्स के वर्किंग के बारे में ज्यादा डिटेल देखनी है तो इन सभी सेंसर के डिटेल वीडियो की लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगी। तो दोस्तों आज के लिए बस इतना।
Next is GDA system.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका द ऑटोमोटिव्स में। और आज हम बात नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका द ऑटोमोटिव्स में। और आज हम बात करेंगे कि गैसोलीन डायरेक्ट इंजेक्शन यानी कि जीडीआई काम कैसे करता है।
See, this video will stop in 4 minutes. Means session will end in 4 minutes. If that happens, please log in with same ID and same password. Let us finish this unit today. Okay.
आज इस वीडियो में हम देखेंगे कि जीडीआई का मीनिंग क्या होता है, जीडीआई के फायदे क्या है, जीडीआई का कंस्ट्रक्शन किस तरह का होता है और गैसोलीन डायरेक्ट इंजेक्शन काम कैसे करता है। तो शुरुआत करते हैं मीनिंग से। तो जीडीआई का मीनिंग होता है गैसोलीन डायरेक्ट इंजेक्शन, और नाम के मुताबिक ही इस सिस्टम में गैसोलीन या फिर पेट्रोल को डायरेक्टली कंबशन चैम्बर में इंजेक्ट करवाया जाता है। अब बात करते हैं फायदे की। तो ज्यादा पावर और माइलेज के लिए नॉर्मली गैसोलीन डायरेक्ट इंजेक्शन का यूज होता है। अब जीडीआई सिस्टम के कारण जो इंजन है वो अल्ट्रा लीन मिक्सचर का यूज कर पाएगा, और इसके कारण काफी कम फ्यूल यूज होने पर फ्यूल इकोनॉमी में काफी बढ़ावा मिलेगा। अब बात करते हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन की। तो फ्यूल टैंक के साथ एक लो प्रेशर फ्यूल पंप जुड़ा हुआ होगा, और उसके साथ लगा होगा एक फ्यूल फिल्टर। अब जो फ्यूल फिल्टर है उसमें से फ्यूल लाइन जाएगी सीधी प्रेशर रेगुलेटिंग वाल्व में, और वहां से फिर लगा होगा एक हाई प्रेशर फ्यूल पंप। उसके बाद दिया होगा एक फ्यूल प्रेशर सेंसर, और फ्यूल लाइन जाएगी उसके बाद सीधी फ्यूल रेल में, जो कि एक मेटल की ट्यूब होगी। अब फ्यूल रेल में से सभी इंजेक्टर्स को हाई प्रेशर फ्यूल सप्लाई दी जाएगी। अब फ्यूल रेल के दूसरे सिरे के ऊपर एक प्रेशर रिलीफ वाल्व माउंट किया गया होगा, और उसमें से एक रिटर्न लाइन दी जाएगी वापस फ्यूल टैंक में। अब बात करते हैं सेंसर्स की। तो सबसे पहले है थ्रोटल पोजीशन सेंसर, जो कि थ्रोटल वाल्व के साथ डायरेक्टली कनेक्ट होगा। फिर होगा मैनिफोल्ड एब्सोल्यूट प्रेशर सेंसर, जो कि इंटेक मैनिफोल्ड में माउंट किया गया होगा। उसके बाद आएगा ऑक्सीजन सेंसर, जो कि एग्जॉस्ट मैनिफोल्ड की डाउनस्ट्रीम पोजीशन में माउंट होगा। उसके बाद आएगा क्रैंकशाफ्ट पोजीशन सेंसर, जो कि सीधा क्रैंकशाफ्ट के ऊपर माउंट होगा। अब लास्ट में होगा एक फ्यूल टेम्परेचर सेंसर, जो कि फ्यूल टैंक के अंदर फ्यूल गेज के साथ असेंबली में जुड़ा हुआ होगा। अब इन पांचों सेंसर और फ्यूल प्रेशर सेंसर को कनेक्ट कर दिए जाएंगे एक इंजन मैनेजमेंट यूनिट के साथ, जो कि सभी इंजेक्टर प्रेशर रेगुलेटिंग वाल्व के साथ कनेक्ट होगा और उन्हें कंट्रोल भी करेगा। अब बात करते हैं वर्किंग की। तो पहले सेंसर से स्टार्ट करते हैं। थ्रोटल पोजीशन सेंसर एक्सीलरेटर देने पर थ्रोटल वाल्व की पोजीशन सेंस करके सिग्नल देगा ईएमयू को, ताकि ईएमयू को पता चलेगा कि ड्राइवर ने कितना एक्सीलरेटर दिया है। अब मैनिफोल्ड एब्सोल्यूट प्रेशर सेंसर सेंस करेगा कि कितनी एयर इंटेक मैनिफोल्ड में जा रही है, और उसका सिग्नल ईएमयू को पास करेगा। अब ऑक्सीजन सेंसर इंजन एग्जॉस्ट में कितना ऑक्सीजन जा रहा है वो सेंस करेगा, और उसका डेटा ईएमयू को पास कर देगा। अब क्रैंकशाफ्ट पोजीशन सेंसर क्रैंकशाफ्ट की एग्जैक्ट पोजीशन को नोट करेगा, और उसका डेटा भेजेगा ईएमयू को। अब फ्यूल टेम्परेचर सेंसर सेंस करेगा कि फ्यूल टैंक में फ्यूल का टेम्परेचर कितना है, और उसका सिग्नल भेज देगा इंजन मैनेजमेंट यूनिट को। अब लास्ट में फ्यूल प्रेशर सेंसर, जो कि फ्यूल सिस्टम के अंदर लगा है, वो सेंस करेगा कि फ्यूल प्रेशर कितना है पूरे सिस्टम में, और उसका कंटिन्यूअस डेटा वो देता रहेगा इंजन मैनेजमेंट यूनिट को। अब फ्यूल टैंक में से लो प्रेशर फ्यूल पंप फ्यूल को भेजेगा फ्यूल फिल्टर में, और वहां से फिल्टर होके फ्यूल सीधा जाएगा फ्यूल प्रेशर रेगुलेटिंग वाल्व में। अब सेंसर के डेटा के अनुसार ईएमयू फ्यूल को पास करेगा हाई प्रेशर फ्यूल पंप की ओर, जो कि एक रेसिप्रोकेटिंग टाइप फ्यूल पंप होगा, और उस हाई प्रेशर फ्यूल पंप फ्यूल को हाईली प्रेशराइज करेगा और भेजेगा प्रेशर सेंसर के थ्रू फ्यूल रेल में, जहां
See, all of you log in with same ID and same password. Once again.
फ्यूल का प्रेशर मेंटेन करने का काम करेगा
ओके मैम।
रिलीफ वाल्व, जो प्रेशर बढ़ने के कारण फ्यूल को बाईपास लाइन की मदद से वापस फ्यूल टैंक में भेज देगा, और इस कारण सभी इंजेक्टर और फ्यूल रेल में कांस्टेंट फ्यूल प्रेशर बना रहेगा। अब सेंसर्स के डेटा की मदद से इंजेक्टर जो है उसे ईएमयू स्पेसिफिक टाइम के ऊपर सिग्नल देगा, और उसके कारण स्पेसिफिक टाइम के ऊपर स्पेसिफिक अमाउंट